Hey, thanks for stopping by. I'm Joe Cortez. This is James Burns of FrontRowPreps.com, powered by Chicken Ranch Casino. It's time now for our weekly prediction show presented by Golden Bear Physical Therapy. Burnsy, we've got a dilemma. We've got so many good games this week. We had to put it out on a Twitter poll.
Yep.
Vote for what you think should be the game of the week. We'll get to those in a minute. Let's start with a little small school game that we think is going to be pretty competitive. Modesto Christian versus Calaveras.
The Crusaders and Calaveras really look at this game as a barometer for what happens
the rest of the way.
Once they hit league. Once you hit the Mother Lode, once you hit the Trans Valley League, what kind of team do you have? This almost feels like a league matchup. Last week, Modesto Christian proved they can travel, go on the road. Hayden Saucer's off to a phenomenal start, and I think he goes up the hill. And I think they atone for a disastrous loss last season to Calaveras.
It's always tough. They only have 18 players. But I like the Crusaders as well in this game. Okay, moving on to our three big school games that we really couldn't decide which one should be game of the week. Let's start with number 5 Merced at Downey.
Number 2 Downey.
Number 2 Downey.
Yeah, this is, as Joe just mentioned, this is a top 5 battle. And these are heavyweights going at it. Week 3 of the season.
I like the way you said that. Say it again. Top 5 battle.
Merced comes to Chuck Hughes Stadium.
Yes.
Right. So, you know, maybe the advantage goes to Downey. But then you got Merced, a team that scored 92 points, and they beat Del Campo, and they beat Gregory, a reigning league champion, a former top 10 team. You know, and then it has Rob Scheidt, the most tenured coach in all the region, right? So it looks like, it feels like that Merced is back, and I'm gonna go. Oh man,
what are you gonna do, Burnsy?
Oh, I don't know.
He's
Joe.
wavering.
Oh, Jody, I don't know what to do. I'm going with the Downey Knights. The Downey Knights beat my alma mater.
They did.
They beat a team that I thought was number 2 in the area.
They're not going to beat my
potential 3-time section champion. They got Bo Green. They got Bryce Gowker. They got Anderson Grover. They've got Bryce Peterson. It doesn't matter how many points Merced scores this week. Downey will score 3 more.
I like stats and lists. You know this.
Somebody told me today.
Rob Scheidt is 16-2 in his career against Modesto City school teams, including 14 in a row at one point. Last year, that streak was snapped by Gregory. It took an 11-0 Gregory team, the greatest team in Gregory history, to snap that streak. Scheidt doesn't lose to Modesto teams. I'm going with the Bears.
Oh, man.
And it has nothing to do with them.
Yeah.
Number 3, Turlock takes on a really talented Tracy team. That's why we're here at Joe Debley Stadium in Turlock, because this is one of the candidates for our game of the week. The battle for the bone. The Turlock Bulldogs take on the Tracy Bulldogs here at Joe Debley.
Yeah, I like the Turlock Bulldogs in this one. And
Me too.
I'll tell you why. Garrett Fountain.
Stud.
It's just the defense in this game. For me, it's like defense always wins championships. Defense is the tone setter. And Garrett Fountain last week, 8.5 tackles, a forced fumble, really led that Turlock Bulldog defense against one of Nevada's best. And I like them at home at Joe Debley, all that momentum. Hey, listen, there's a reason why they vaulted in every ranking out there.
Section rankings, max prep rankings.
They're a team on the come.
First week of the season, they suffer a loss to Freedom, 42-35. They have 5 turnovers in that game. Really shot themselves in the foot, but they're still in that game. They held Giles Jackson, a running back being recruited by Big Ten, SEC, Pac-12 schools, to 6 yards on 9 carries. And as a team, Freedom rushed for -1 yards in that game. You can't run on these guys. Okay. And then our final candidate for game of the week, number 1, Central Catholic takes on old rivals St. Mary's in the annual Holy Bowl.
For both of these teams, this has almost got to feel like a breath of fresh air. De La Salle coming off it, or Central Catholic coming off the De La Salle game. St. Mary's coming off a tough loss to Pittsburgh.
A real talented Pittsburgh team.
And looking forward to a game against Mater Dei. You know, arguably the best team in the nation and the national champion.
The reigning national champ.
So this has got to be a breath of fresh air.
Bishop Gorman 48-0 last week.
Yeah. So
Bishop Gorman.
So this game has got to feel like a breath of fresh air for both of them, but it's still a rivalry. It still matters to both the student populations, to both of those programs. Roger Canova spent a lot of energy last week after the loss talking about turning the page. Hey, turning the page. Take whatever momentum we've gained from this De La Salle game. Let's turn the page and focus on St. Mary's. I think his group is going to be ready. I rode the bus home with them that night. The chatter, just the vibe I got was this team was excited to play St. Mary's, and that says a lot when you've come off, you know,
Big
a
loss.
four-quarter battle against De La Salle. My concern is Downey McNeely may not play, shoulder injury. Mania Olivo is back up. Is he going to be healthy enough to maybe have an expanded role? D'Angelo Bellamy coming off a hip flexor. Is he going to be ready to carry the rock? You've got to have somebody to carry the ball in that offense, and it can't just be Kyle Jackledge, who's been phenomenal. Through the first 2 weeks. You got to get some help from elsewhere. You know, if Downey McNeely cannot go, if he can't play on Friday, my hope is that we're going to finally see Mania Olivo in an expanded role and see what this kid's got.
Who do you like, Cowboy?
I like Central Catholic in this one.
Okay.
I do. I
So
like
do
Central Catholic.
Roger Canepa is 4-6 in his career against St. Mary's, although he's 2 out of the last 4. Could have been a little different story the year they suspended all those guys, 19 players, and they lost big. They could be looking at a much better trend recently.
Yeah, and
I think Central Catholic's ready. However, it does depend on DeWine's health.
Yeah.
I reserve the right to change my pick depending on the injury. So that's it for our week 2, the 3rd week of the season. Predictions brought to you by Golden Bear Physical Therapy. Hey, be sure to stop by and visit frontrowpreps.com each and every Friday night for our live scoreboard. You don't need to go anywhere else. Powered by, say it, Chicken Ranch Casino. That's just fun to say. For James Burns, I'm Joe Cortez. We will see you next time.